Hello and welcome back to Pohl in One Golf Club. Today we are talking about the very thing that drives this indoor golf simulator inside of my condo garage, and that is the Square Golf Launch Monitor. When I first learned about this thing, that's when I first thought, hey, I can make a golf simulator in my garage. These things are perfect, okay? Spoiler alert, they are perfect for people with tight spaces. I didn't have a lot of space. Most launch monitors, at least the more budget kind, require a lot more space behind you and in front of you. The Square Golf Launch Monitor sits off to your side and does an absolutely fantastic job. Now, what is my review about? Well, I'm not going to get into all of the technical aspects of this thing. I'm more of a guy of, does it work? Does it do what I want it to do? Short answer, yes. Long answer, let's check it out, as this is my review of the Square Golf Launch Monitor for the high handicapper or guy who just loves to swing the sticks and not think too much more about it. First thing I'll tell you is that my Square Golf Launch Monitor is actually inside of a protective case. The build on this unit isn't premier. It doesn't feel like it could take a hard shank. So I would suggest to you is find yourself a protective case on Etsy or online somewhere, and then get that in there before you take your first full swing, because I do think just the wrong shank could knock your Square Golf Launch Monitor out. So now let's see how the software works with the Square Golf Launch Monitor. And this is the Square Golf Launch Monitor software we're using, so you know exactly what you are getting out of the box. By now you've probably heard you get 1,000 credits. Each credit is one hole of sim golf play, but you have unlimited play at the driving range, closest to the pin, and putting practice. So that is awesome. And I'll let you know that the Square Golf Launch Monitor comes with marked balls, but I beat those up so quickly that they're not even in this video. But I did buy some of these TP5X Pix balls from TaylorMade. They are absolutely fantastic balls, and they're very durable. The other thing you're going to need to do is put a little sticker on. See that thing right there? You put those on all your clubs, and that'll give you club data. We're going to start at the driving range. There's a couple of them. We're going to go to Highland and see what we got. Let's check it out. We've got our sand wedge just to warm up, so we'll mark it over here. We'll change it here to our sand wedge, and you're ready to go. It's nice because you can put in your own clubs inside, at least the clubs that you use all the time. Save that as your bag, and then you're using the real clubs that you use in real life, and they're easy to find in the software. All right, let's take a shot, shall we? Now, when you put this baby down, you'll hear a little ring, and you're ready to go. There's my first shot. It's nice and straight. You see the different on your screen, the club path data, the in and out, the ascending, and my face to target was a little bit closed. That is helpful, and I like to see that. But visually, you see the blue ball tracker, and you can kind of see where it went anyway, and it's easy to figure out what you're doing with your club path. In terms of ball speed, the direction, and all those things, frankly, the only one I really look at is ball speed, direction, a little bit of the spin rate, but I'm so consistent with those things, and I don't know how much at my age. I'm 60 years old and just started golf 3 or 4 years ago. Hopefully I learned how to get much better at that, but those numbers don't mean all that much to me. So again, as a high handicapper, just going out to a range like this to practice my swing, to hit it and get a little feedback for both my club and of course the ball, it's actually excellent. I'll hit another one here for you. And this is just like I hit in real life. I mean, I probably shouldn't have bailed out backwards like that so I could feel that right away. But you get that instant data and instant feedback. I've seen other much more expensive golf launch monitors where you hit the ball and you have to wait, like, even if it's a second, it feels like an eternity. The Square Golf Launch Monitor is almost instant. And when you're playing a game out on the course, which we'll do here in just a few minutes, it really makes a difference to me. So that's another big plus. All right, I thought we'd move things over to Bayport for our driver. I knew I hit that right. So that is dead on for me. And you could see the face to target open. And I did hit the boat, but it didn't sink. The visual itself is really helpful for me. I mean, obviously I know my club face is open. It's giving me a little data on that, and I can kind of go from there. So let's try and straighten this out a little bit before we move on to our next test. That felt much better, but it's still a little right. 199 yards. I will say this. I played a lot of golf last year, over 80 rounds, and I tracked it all through 18 birdies. We'll talk about that app someday on this channel, but for right now, I will tell you that 199 to 220, if I really hit it just right, or if the ground's dry and it rolls, I can maybe go 230, 235, but that's about my driver. If you have any tips on how I can get a little further, please leave them in the comments below. There she blows. Finally one right down Broadway. So you can see here on the club path, the attack angle, and the face to target, I did much better there. So this is pretty cool because it does give you the club data you need, and you can go to a different mode and you can see exactly how I hit that last shot that went right down Broadway. Pretty square face on it and not bad at all. So you got your spin rate and spin axis and all that. I generally look at the visual. I look at the ball speed because I know if I can get into the 125 to 130 range, I'm going to go at least 200 yards on my drive. So that is my goal. But when I go straight, I generally go slower. But it's nice to get this feedback and this information. And even for someone who doesn't want to dive into all these numbers after every shot, I think it's awesome. All right, this is my favorite part of the Square Golf software. It is closest to the pin. Let's go ahead and load it up. And you can do whatever you can go random distance mode and give it between 20 and 80 or whatever it is you want. You click on here, you can go up to 200. If you want to go closest to the pin, you can go as low as 20 yards. I like 20 to 80 because that's what happens most for me in real life. You can even put putting on. I keep it off, but you can finish the hole if you'd like, which I think is absolutely fantastic. I keep a concede distance at 4 feet around the hole. So if I can get it closest to the pin within 4 feet, I am going to be a very happy man. All right, as you see, it's pretty random. They're going to start me out in the rough, 70 yards out. I've got my sand wedge, and that's a long distance for me. So let's see how we do here. Felt good, and it's a little long. Gave that too much, overcompensated for the rough, but man, I was right on target. The thing I like about closest to the pin is I can play it at any time. You don't get that huge whack against the screen each time you hit one of these closest to the pin shots. So I can play at midnight if I want, not worry about my neighbors hearing anything. I don't know if I got enough and I hit the ground a little bit. Come on now. That is not bad. All right, you look at the driving range and closest to the pin. Both of those included with the software. All you can play. It's free once you own it, and it is addicting, and it's a blast. Almost worth it just for that. But there's also putting. I have a Sig Pro hitting strip, and it's absolutely fantastic, but it's not very good to putt off of. So I got a thin board at the old hardware store. You see that? And I put some putting turf on top of it, same size. And then every time I need to putt while I'm playing, I just put it right over the Sig Pro, and I am ready to go. And now that we are ready to go, let's go to the putting practice, which is very similar to what we saw earlier in the closest to the pin. You can do a random distance of 5 to 20 feet, set the green speed, and whatever it is you want. And then off you go. You hit go, and here we are. We're going to start with a straight shot at just 10 feet. And boom, we got it. I'm not going to go too much into this because what you see is what you get. And I also nailed that. So I want to make this a nice segment in my video. But it is a good way to get familiar with your stroke, especially inside the game when you're playing 18 holes on the Square software. In fact, why don't we go do that now? Let's tee it up and play some real simulator golf that they offer in the Square Golf Launch Monitor software. You know, maybe I'm a high handicapper because all I want to do is play, and I need to practice more, and I need to get better. I need to take lessons. But my favorite thing to do is get out on the course, whether it be real or in a simulation like the Square Golf software here. They have a nice robust amount of courses that you can play of very different skill levels. I have played all of them that are available, at least up to this point, which I think is like 17, and I enjoyed every single one of them. So today we are going to go play we're going to try and play an easier course. Let's go down to Pine Grove Country Club. All right, we're kicking off Pine Grove Country Club with a 441 par 5. Not the longest par 5 you'll ever see, but a par 5 nonetheless. All right, that felt like a good strike. Not super slow. Oh, and a little left. All right, still a long way to go, 274. I've got my hybrid, 3 hybrid. And not far out of that rough. And fell out of my shoes a little bit. I hope it stops there, not in the sand. All right. By the way, feel free to put in the comments below what you think I'm doing wrong in my swing. I know it's about 1,000 things, but sometimes I'll play with someone and they'll give me just the slightest little tweak, and it makes all the difference in the world. Cut it up and down. Get in that circle. Oh, so close. Oh, just not enough on that. But we'll take the bogey. All right, I never want my videos to go too long, so I'm just going to show you the first 3 holes of this course. You just saw par 5, getting ready to tee up on a par 4, and then a par 3, so that'll run the gamut. But you can tell already how much fun it is. This software may not be as robust as GS Pro, but it'll certainly give you a good time swinging the sticks on some sim courses. That felt pretty good, 123, so it should be, if it hits the fairway, close to 200, but it doesn't. I'm just off. Still 197, I'll take it. Hold that a little bit. Just stop before the bunker, and that's good. You gotta say, and I know I have some friends who watch this video, actually family and friends, and they're gonna say, boy, watching him on this simulator is like watching him in real life, which is what simulators should be, right? Very high, but I wanted it high. And that's not bad at all. That I'll take. Oh, it didn't break. Oh, and it's going to make me putt again. All right, we'll take the bogey. No, it's did not hit that well at all. All right. I've been hanging out near the bunkers or in the bunkers all day. That is not a bad chip. Get in the hole. Oh! I told you that closest to pin was my favorite game. So this club, whether it be my sand or approach or gap wedge, always seems to be my favorite. You can tell I'm struggling on every other club in the bag, but boy, that's fun. Oh, just not enough on it. And what do you know? Another bogey. So I'll bet you can guess my final thoughts on my review of the Square Golf Launch Monitor and its software. That's right. I absolutely love it. It does have the feedback and the numbers that you can use and dive into if you want to get better at the game. But for someone like me who just wants to have fun and use part of that feedback to work on some things, it's just an awesome piece of hardware and software. It's also compatible with third-party software like GS Pro, so you can take your game to the next level with some better software. Having said that, I think this software is great if you just want to play a virtual round or closest to the pin, go to the driving range, and even help out your putting. So a big thumbs up for the Square Golf Launch Monitor. Thanks so much for clicking on. Be sure and like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time at the Pohl & One Golf Club.